Again, a warm welcome to this session, wherein we are going to talk about, what are the opportunities available in the biodegradable products. I would like to welcome you all to another session of knowledge sharing, which is being conducted by SolutionBuggy along with our experts. So today we'll be learning on what are the opportunities in the biodegradable products. What does the ban on SUP mean? What are the products that are available? And we will also try to understand how big is the packaging sector and how SolutionBuggy can help an entrepreneur or an existing industry to enter this in the biodegradable packaging sector. Before I start, I would like to do a quick introduction to SolutionBuggy. Like most of you know, we are an online platform to connect the manufacturing industries with the experts. We are, in fact, India's largest platform for the MSME sector and have about 10,000 experts on the platform. We have done about 2,300 projects across India over the last 6 years. We have an office in Bangalore and also an office in NCR. When we say projects, it could be anything from a one-day consulting assignment, say, for example, a training program or a lean management, and all the way until setting up of industries, right from concept to commercialization stage, which includes market research, product identification, then detailed project report, machinery procurement, plant setup, commissioning, supply chain management, sales and marketing, and any regulations or certifications that are required. Although we focus on all sectors, the core ones which we look at are majorly into food and beverage, chemicals, pharma, aerospace and defense, electronics, and the trending sectors like the topic that we are talking today, EVs, battery manufacturing, ethanol, plant setup, nutraceuticals, cosmetics, etc. So, with this quick introduction of SolutionBuggy, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Guru Prasad Bangle, director at SolutionBuggy, and today I have with me, Mr. Purushottam Madoni, who has about 20 plus years of experience in the polymer industry. He himself has about 7 patents in the US market and about 5 international publications. His expertise is mainly in polymer formulations, application development. He's also the founder at Ecolastic company, and he has developed, and scaled up a company in the starch-based, biodegradable material, which is 100% home compostable. And also the good part is, unlike other competitors, the pricing is highly competitive, and it basically addresses the single-use plastic ban. We welcome you, Mr. Purushottam.
Thank you.
Next, I have Mr. Rajkumar Mathur, who has about 30 plus years of experience with vast knowledge in the basically in the plastics industry as well as in the packaging industry. He has taken up plant installation, commissioning, and also in the supply chain management. Currently, he is working as an expert and helps individuals and entrepreneurs or existing organizations to diversify into businesses such as plastics or also in the biodegradable packaging industry. We welcome you, Mr. Rajkumar.
Thank you, Mr. Guru.
Yeah. Next, I have an entrepreneur, Mr. Gautam Surana. He has about 13 years of immense experience in eco-friendly technology. He's kind of having a double role, I would say. He does compostable packaging and as well as, as a company which works on water-saving technology as well. Out and out, he's I would say an eco-friendly person who is trying to change certain parameters which have been kind of accepted in the industry, and trying to move into a more eco-friendly and biodegradable kind of options in the packaging sector. Welcome you, Mr. Gautam.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So with that, I would like to, do a brief, a quick presentation on what the opportunities in the biodegradable sector is why the SUP ban has come, and why are we even talking about this topic as of today. Give me a minute and I'll just share my screen. Yeah. So I think everybody has been talking about the SUP ban since July 1st, when the ban was first placed, and obviously the state governments to various degrees have done their part as well. I just read an article recently that the Karnataka government had just in Bangalore they had confiscated almost 120 tons of plastic packaging material within 1 week of the ban coming into effect. So with that being the impact of plastics to our the packaging industry, I think it's a very apt time today to understand why the ban has come in, and also what are the probable opportunities. So over the next 90 minutes, I think we'll be talking to both the experts and as well as an entrepreneur in this sector, and understand what kind of opportunities are available for all the participants. Uh, since we have, we all understand that there is a, ban, and, there are a lot of, commodities that have been banned from importing as well as from using. So this is where the reason for the entire, topic has come up. If you see, this is just a brief of all the articles, but there are still yeah, actually I read that there are about 53 articles that have been banned, which come under the single-use plastics. So these are the there's a small gist of the list of articles that have been banned. Uh, and the reason why it has been banned, obviously, India wants to be carbon neutral in the next 6 to 8 years. So they want to, make sure that whatever is possible in terms of banning the plastic and single-use kind of plastics will be in place. So we all know what the effects of plastics are, basically because it has not been able to get composted. So everything ends up in huge mounds and debris of landfills everywhere, and then it becomes very difficult to get rid of it. So, although there are short-term effects which we see with our eyes itself, but then there are long-term effects that marine life gets affected, then they get ingested into the marine life, which again gets consumed by, humans, which, causes more, life-threatening kind of diseases to the humans. So that is obviously the long-term effects for both the animal and human health. Apart from that, the economical cost of getting rid of these SUP is also pretty huge. This is just the numbers. I think it has too much to speak about it. If you see the top 10 cities where we are generating this, Delhi takes the first place, but then there are other cities as well which are equally contributing. And to top it, I think the e-commerce, kind of wave also has increased the usage of these kind of plastic materials in all the packaging. So today, if you order, there are sometimes when you just get a bottle of shampoo, and it comes with almost 5 to 10 meters of plastic packaging itself, the bubble wraps and the plastic covering and things like that. So you can understand what kind of plastic waste is being generated day in and day out. So obviously, when all the e-commerce sector started booming, the plastic waste also started increasing along with that. So if you see, the biggest culprit in the plastic industry as of today is the packaging sector. So where it could be the bags, or it could be the bubble wraps, or the wrapping things that come for these products. It could be anything where the plastic is being used extensively. The other two contributors are in the construction and in the textile industry. So, since we all know there is a SUP ban, so what are the next options that we are having in terms of either biodegradable or compostable packaging? Just before we started this, webinar, I was just talking. Last week we were at the Food Pro exhibition in Chennai, and we saw a host of companies coming in with various options, which are very much suited to the Indian food, packaging, especially packaging that takes care of semi-solid or semi-liquid kind of food materials, packaging which also comes with improvement in shelf life as well, because basically some of these packaging allow the air to flow through, and then allows the food to breathe in. So so that was one of the companies claim that the food lasts longer in it. So like these, there were a host of companies that were coming in with different ways and methods to package food. Now, obviously, the advantages is that we are going to, be eco-friendly, and then we will reduce our carbon footprint. It will take, lesser energy and lesser, raw materials and things like that, which are easily available. And also, it is more, I would say, micro industry friendly. That is, smaller, investments can be put in to produce these, alternate options. Sorry. The factors are mainly that government rules and regulations have been put in, and that's why everybody is switching on to alternate products. Obviously, many of them are all even before the ban was in place, were trying to switch on to these products, who were kind of consciously going to eco-friendly options. And then there is also a lot of government schemes for setting up of these industries, which is a good thing, because it's encouraging new entrepreneurs to look into this. And also for existing industries, there has to be some incentive, right? So to get into this biodegradable packaging. Sorry. So that is why the government is giving some schemes as well. Sorry. So what is in it for the the person who is actually packaging his products in it is that it is going to give a boost to his image, because he's being environmental conscious. It is going to increase sales because obviously another option which the competitor or anybody is using. So based on that, he's trying to get some mileage, that he's using eco-friendly packaging options. It obviously there is a growing interest in the consumers as well, and they would not actually mind paying a little slightly more price, considering that this is a more eco-friendly option. So with that, I would like to give leave the session open for Mr. Purushottam Adoni to come in and share his views on what he thinks are the opportunities in this sector. Over to you, Mr. Purushottam.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Guru Prasad, for the nice introduction and also setting up the stage. So, myself, Purushottam Adani, I am director at Ecolastic Product Private Limited, and so thanks for all the audience for showing interest in getting into this industry. I'm going to briefly show you about the one of the most promising alternate to plastics in single-use application. So let me run it through you. Let me share my presentation. You see the screen?
No, it's still not visible.
Not
Yes.
yet.
What about now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's coming.
you can see it.
It's visible, but on my screen it's not showing up.
Yeah, we're able to see your presentation.
And yeah. So sure. I'll take you through the biodegradable and compostable plastics opportunity in India, and especially for the entrepreneurs who are interested to look into it. So as an opportunity. So to start with, so as Mr. Guru Prasad briefed, so there is a reason for banning single-use plastics because the statistics says every day India alone like throw 28,000 tons of plastics that are used and thrown, and most of it is not collected back. So it remains, it's littered, it remains in environment, and that is causing huge issue to ecosystem, to soil, to marine, it gets into sea and all. So that is the reason the government has taken decision to ban this, so at least reduce, restrict the usage of this, so, especially made from plastics, so that remains in nature. Plastic should not remain in nature. That's the base of this ban. So if you quickly see some of the statistics, what we human being doing, basically the plastics are good materials, but our irresponsibility towards handling the waste causing this big problem. So plastics makes our life very, very comfortable in terms of hygiene, comfort, lightweight. So all these things. So because of this advantage, so globally plastics production is continuously growing. So close to 400 million tons are produced every year. But where is it ending up? Are we collecting, recycling, reusing? No, most of it is ending up in soil or sea. So especially in with whatever gets into sea, that is never taken back. So by 2050, it is estimated inside sea there will be more plastic waste than the fishes and other creatures in the sea. So that is the irreversible damage we are doing to this one and only planet we live. So that's where we all are responsible. Yes, government has certain responsibility to reduce this problem, but we all are responsible to take care of so our ecosystem. So this is time to really put some ban, not only from government, from citizens, everybody, especially on littering, or look into alternates, because we cannot change some of our lifestyle. Today, when you travel out, if you want to drink water, we know it is very difficult to collect in tap and drink. These are not as clean as like what 30 years back. We have to use bottle, but let us be responsible. So when we talk about this ban, and first thing we need to look into is like what are the alternates we have today? Yes, government banned, but there are so many complaints that so they without alternates, government taken decision on ban. But if not now, so when can government ban? When can alternates come? It's a chicken and egg story. So when they ban, yes, we are forced to look into alternates. So compostable plastics I'll talk about, but before that, let's see the alternates what traditionally are there. Maybe people born 70s, 80s or before that. So we all have started our lifestyle with a cloth bag. So that is still there. It's going to be there. But why cloth is not able to replace plastics? Because it has its limitation on the cost and it restricts certain usages. It cannot be used for wet products. And if you want to really scale up to a few million bags, there are constraints and all. But cloth is definitely an alternate, but not in every case because of these limitations. Then comes paper. Today, paper is proven to be the alternate to plastics in few cases, like your cups and plates and all. But again, paper is not a truly eco-friendly. Yes, if it becomes eco-friendly if we grow more trees and cut trees and make paper. But we are not planting enough trees, but cutting trees. 40 years back, when single-use plastic came into picture, many people appreciated. They said, yes, we don't need to cut trees henceforth. But now the situation coming back to using paper, so we have to cut trees. So that way, yes, it has a lot of advantages, biodegradability, all those, but cutting trees is not good for environment. And there are other things coming into market because of ban. One of that is plastics with some additives, because on paper or on comfort, it is very easy. You take existing your polyethylene or polypropylene, whatever, put some additive available in market and say my product is biodegradable. There are a lot of studies going on, but this technology has danger of creating microplastics. The biodegradability is not proven yet. Yes, many countries working, scientists working on that. But till date, it is not truly biodegradable. and also government of India has not approved any oxo biodegradable plastics to use till date. So then comes to compostable plastics. The compostable plastics, basically compostable is the right technical term to use here. So actually this is biodegradable polymers only. It can be called biodegradable in a layman term, but these are like truly biodegradable. So these are like gets back into nature. Nature recycles this. I will show more how it nature recycles that. And capacities are picking up. Today you want to make 1 million bags or 10 million bags. There are capacities growing globally and it can be scaled up. So there's no really worry about like your cloth bags and all. Like if you want a million bags, so you don't need to wait a long. It can be produced in days. And it has similar properties like plastics, like it is thin, lightweight, non-wetting, gives enough strength to carry, packing and all. Of course, there are certain limitations on long-term packing like barrier properties and all, where industry is putting a lot of efforts to address those. But today, so globally, the compostable plastics is still small. It is 2% of the plastics produced, but it is going to grow multifold. There are a lot of data available on internet. There's a website called European Bioplastics. People who are interested to see how the compostable industry is growing, they can go and look into those data. So we at Ecolastic, we developed a compostable plastic indigenously. So mainly this is based on starch, cornstarch. Cornstarch is the key ingredient. Taking that, we developed cost effective compared to the compostable plastics available globally. So we significantly reduced cost by making starch into a plastic that can be converted into multiple plastic products. And we did it with say a joint technology arrangement with DRDO. And when we did this, we also interested to spread this technology. So today, if someone wants to set up these kind of facilities and make these products, so we are ready to support in accordance with the SolutionBuggy. Like whoever are interested to get into these products can approach SolutionBuggy. Through them, we can help you to set up and make these products. Some of those I will show what exactly you can do with this. So before that, little bit, I will brief on what is this product all about. So basically, the compostable products are something that gets back to nature. So nature recycles that. So normally what happens when you throw a plastic bag into soil, it remains there, people say 400 years or 1000 years, whatever. Basically, bacteria does not degrade that, consume that. But other things, if we throw, say we throw a banana peel, we throw orange peel or the food waste, when you throw in the nature, after a week or 10 days, that disappears. Where is it going, right? Ideally, we want plastic also, our packaging also should be like that, what nature packaging comes. So like that, what happens when you make these plastics out of this corn, what I have shown here. So we convert this corn into granules. Okay, that granules look similar to plastics, but it is not plastic. It is made of natural products. Then those granules can be converted into variety of single-use plastics. Your bags, cutlery, plates, courier bags, shrink wraps, lot of things can be made out of it. After use, if you put it to composting condition, so this composting condition is where soil bacteria is available. So typically there are different type of products like home compostable, industrial compostable, and all. Home compostable is something like our ambient temperature, room temperature. So say somebody has thrown it into a soil. What happens is bacteria consumes this plastic like any other food we throw and excretes. When bacteria converts into carbon dioxide, H2 and biomass. This biomass is plastic free. It can be used for plant growth, and carbon dioxide, H2O. Again, so you know the photosynthesis reaction, how plants make corn or fruits and all that takes carbon dioxide from nature, oxygen and sunlight and makes corn again. So this part we leave it to nature, right? So nature recycles and makes the food again. So this is an ideal packaging material that doesn't spoil the ecosystem. So this is the way we develop these products, and our manufacturing process, quickly to tell you. So taking like cornstarch or tapioca starch, it can be potato starch and all that we convert into pellets. So adding other compostable polymers to it. There are compostable polymers people in industry know, like PBAT or PLA, these type of polymers. Certain amount is required to give you the mechanical properties, non-wetting properties. Then it is converted into, say, bags is converted in a blown film process, cups are converted in a thermoforming process. So like that, there are multiple processes can be used to convert it into the shapes. Then another advantage is this material can be converted in any existing plastic facility now. Don't need, if somebody has a plastic industry, for them to move to biodegradable plastics, they don't need to additionally invest. There may be minor tweaking that we can help you. So when you come up with the project to work with us, right? So one key thing to get into compostable plastics manufacturing industry is there is a regulatory compliance required. So Indian government SIPET, a testing body, along with Pollution Control Board. So together, so you need to go through some testing of these products and get this particular certification. If you want to manufacture and sell, this is mandatory, and this is like 8 to 10 months time consuming thing. So here also we can help you how to go with this kind of process, right? And products, what we can make with these compostable products in general are, you can make a lot of single-use plastics like carry bags, and it can go even into paper coating, because today the paper cups comes with a thin plastic coating inside that is more dangerous than a plastic, because it is not recyclable by paper people or by so plastic people. So there also, like, government banned that you can use compostable coating. So this biodegradable compostable plastic can be coated inside. Then containers can be made, variety of bags, courier bags, stretch films. There's so many things can be done. Little innovation is required in process and formulation, but it can address the majority of the products. So with that background, let us quickly see people here. I know a lot of people are joining this call to explore what opportunities they have to become an entrepreneur or already existing entrepreneur, how they can diversify into. A quick scenario we will see for one of the product. So if more things need to be done, later you can connect to SolutionBuggy. So these biodegradable plastics, so if somebody wants to get into this, so opportunity wise, if you see, the big opportunity, as Mr. Guru Prasad told today, is government banned a lot of these things. And there's a tremendous demand coming up in different sides for these alternates, right? That is the biggest opportunity. If you tap into right opportunity, so you can make good business out of it. Apart from that, there is a lot of awareness from in a large corporates, even consumers, in hotel chains and all, to reduce plastic. They reduce pollution causing plastic, irrespective of government bans or not. There are some set of customers always are interested to do something green and pay a little more for that. And then again, in the regulatory front, today, as per government rules, if anybody making plastic bag, they have to maintain minimum 75 microns, because if it is thick enough, so government thinks so it can go into recycling. Rag pickers can pick. If it is too thin, they don't pick because it has no value. That regulation is expected to change to 120 micron. So if somebody really legally makes a plastic bag, they have to make it very thick. Obviously, the costs add up. That's a good thing for compostable industry, because there is no thickness limit when you use these materials and make bags. So instead of 120 micron, you can still make 40 microns for a 3 kg, 5 kg carrying bag and make it cost effective. So that's what all these things makes an urgent need in the industry to look for alternates. That opens up opportunity for this biodegradable compostable plastics. As such, so we talked about the market in India, but not alone in India. Globally, this compostable plastics industry is growing at a very good pace. So this data is available in European Bioplastics website, very authentic website. So if you go and see the way it is growing, so that gives you a confidence. But there is an export opportunity as well, but there are the regulatory requirement. If someone has a long-term vision of setting up these facilities, this industry and grow in long term, even by doing export and all. So this opens up really good opportunity. But it is a time-taking process to get the certification done globally. There's a cost and there's time. But once you cross this, there'll be a sustainable business in that. Let us see very small scenario of, because when we talk about alternates, immediately people ask like, what is the cost? So if you can make something really good at 3x or 4x price, is it viable? That question comes. So let us see a small scenario here, like polyethylene bags versus the biodegradable or compostable bags, what we are talking. So today, raw material cost of say polyethylene is 120 rupees. This material for making these bags, the compostable material costs around 200 or little more than 200. And say let's put a conversion cost. So you take the material, convert into bags using the blown film process, right? So when you convert, that per kg becomes, say this becomes 220, that becomes 140. Since in compostable plastic there is no thickness limit, we can make really thinner. Whereas in plastic, we have to maintain 75 micron if you want to do legal business. Okay. So number of bags it makes is like in compostable, because of lower thickness, you make 120, right? And in plastic, you make 100, considering today's regulation of 70 micron. But if we move to 120 micron, it comes to 65. So cost per bag compostable becomes say 1.83, whereas plastic today is 1.4. Tomorrow, if regulation change, that becomes more than compostable. Yes, today we are like higher cost than plastic, but since the ban is also helping in many cases, so people have no option. If they want some comfort, people will come forward to pay. So this is a small scenario. It may not be very accurate because day-to-day things keep changing, but it gives you an idea where it stands. And if somebody really wants to set up a small scale, say, manufacturing facility to start with, so it can be done a small scale or it can be scaled up. If somebody is like seriously wants to start off with like even 100 ton, 500 ton, yes, it is possible. Materials are available. There's a market exists there. It all depends on where you position, how you market these things. But for somebody to start as a small entrepreneur, what it costs. So I have listed what machinery is required for making a blown film as a carry bag manufacturing facility or the other type of bags manufacturing facility. You need a blown film extruder and you need a cutter and you need a printer and all. So even to make a 30 ton per month, so it's going to cost you somewhere 28, 30 lakhs for machinery. So then you need some area, at least 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of industrial area. Plus there is a 50 HP of power. This is the something people can start off as low as say 50 lakhs rupees. Plus there should be some working capital for your material purchase till you sell and get your money back. So we are talking something less than a crore rupee to start off, right? So it is possible. And so if, again, as I told, if somebody is like already in the market or already they have plastic manufacturing facility, for them it's only a matter of taking this material and trying it there. There may be minor modification required. For them, it is very easy to convert from plastics to this. And what are the other things required? So these are for the new entrepreneurs. Like, so they have to go through a normal factory setup requirements like GST, your factory license and all. Apart from that, as I already mentioned in previous slides, one major requirement is you need to go through the CPET and CPCB certification process. So without that, it is not legal to produce. Okay, so if somebody is really interested, the first thing they have to go for is they have to start off with this certification process as soon as they set up. But we can guide you to end-to-end process for this, right? So, and in terms of ROI, okay, I will set up a 30 ton facility, a 40 ton facility. So what is it can pay? Here a scenario is shown. If you fully utilize your capacity and make the bags of like 30 tons in a month, if you can make, so what it can pay back, right? So somebody's, if they can make and sell it at the cost what we are talking, yes, they can make reasonable returns they can make. So it on a higher side, it says per shift you can make 30 to 40,000 rupees, right? So we can get into more details of this discussion if somebody is really interested to set up and they want more information from us. So later stage, you can set up a call with SolutionBuggy. So we can give you more details and market scenario. What are the current selling price? Who are present in that? What are the opportunities we can discuss? And in terms of more products, right? So we talked about a scenario of making bags, carry bags or pouches, those kind of things. But there are more opportunities. For example, these cups are banned now. Cups and plates are banned. There's a tremendous rush in the market because whoever has manufacturing facility, they have shut down today because it is illegal to produce plastic, right? So that process is called thermoforming process. So basically, you take material, make a sheet, convert it, press into cups and plates. That's one type of process. The investments are different for that. It's not like what is shown in previous slide. And there is injection molding. This cutlery is also banned. So it's compostable. You can make cutlery that looks and gives a performance like plastic spoon and this because hotel industry, especially the delivery industries, your Zomatos and Swiggies, when you order food, they deliver along with that. So those kind of products. Now plastic is banned. And now wooden is picking up in a rapid pace, but wooden spoon, if you see, they are very flat. Off late, if you had gone to a restaurant, ordered food, you can see the pain of eating by a wooden spoon. It is so flat, you cannot eat properly. Then it containers like food delivery containers. Then it can be film, stretch films to wrap something, the food and all. It can be garbage bags. It can be straws. So there are so many can be done. So there are different opportunities are there, but your manufacturing setup and process are different for each of them. So depending on your interest, we can definitely so help you on setting up those things. So with that, I want to thank you for listening. I think if any questions are there, I think we'll be able to address at the end of the other presentations. So let's look for the other interesting presentation. Then we can get back.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Purushottamji, for a very kind of an informative session, and also for including the the financials as well. Although it is not cast in stone that these will be the costs, but it is a ballpark figure for somebody who is wanting to enter into the sector. And obviously there are government schemes and funding options available to anybody who is wanting to get into this. Before I call upon the next speaker, Mr. Mathurji, I would want to run a small poll to try and understand what the audience comprises of, what is the audience interest, and also in terms of what options that the audience is looking at. So please, I request all of you to answer the questions of the poll, and then we will continue with the next speaker. So if you see, there are four questions that each one of you need to answer. It will be popping up on your screen now. So if you could, take a look at these questions and also start answering each one of them. So you will get about 15 to 20 seconds to answer these questions. Very basic ones, just to understand what the audience interest is, and also see, how we can, uh, customize our webinars, and also see, which are the key areas where, more questions are, coming in from. So just to reiterate to all the audience, there is a small poll running by. It would have popped up on all your screens. I would request you to have a look at the questions and kindly answer them to the best of your knowledge. Yeah, thank you all for answering this small poll. I'm sure our people will get back to you whenever you have any questions or doubts. So continuing, I would now want to call Mr. Rajendra Mathurji to come in and give his thoughts and opinion about the biodegradable packaging sector. Over to you, Mr. Mathurji.
Thank you, Mr. Guru Prasad, for a wonderful introduction you have made. And, good morning, friends. This is Jasper Mathur, and I'll be starting my presentation.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah, so once again, good morning, friends. Today we are talking on the opportunities in biodegradable product manufacturing. Mr. Purushottam has covered many aspects of the biodegradability and manufacturing process and materials. I'll just brief out first of all about me. I'm a technical expert helping SolutionBuggy's client as a uh, plastic inventor in plastic packaging and plastic manufacturing technology. My name is Rashkar Mathur and representing the raw metric as my own ventures. Something about me as an introduction. I'm helping to fulfill your dreams. A plastic inventor with 30 years of hands-on knowledge in the industry of manufacturing MNC world. Domain hotshot in plastic packaging, biodegradable packaging, packing machines, and recycling. Business excellence proficient, a team leader, and visionary business mentor. What you can deserve from me, basically, I'm helping you to transform your life. Most of the time, we see the cost-efficient solutions. We look somebody who can provide us the cost-efficient solutions. Then we see that basically somebody can hold your hand and took us to the journey to complete this product. Timeline is a very important aspect of any project. If you are not able to complete the project in time, then you are wasting your money also. So on-time completion of the project is one of the key factors. And establishing the good manufacturing practices. That is one of the most important aspect of any industry, any manufacturing unit or process or services. What I'm doing, I'm helping the individuals, young entrepreneurs and organizations on their passionate journey to fulfill their dreams by setting up a new manufacturing plant from scratch to the final product, diversifying to the new product manufacturing line, upgrading the existing business for the sustainable growth of your team and your organization through business excellence by improvisations in the existing process, procedures, and systems. This was something about me, and now what I'm going to cover in the biodegradable context is basically what is the biodegradable. Mr. Purushottam has given you some glimpses. I'll tell you something more about on it. Then what is the difference between a biodegradable and compostable? What are the test methods to test whether it's a biodegradable or not? What is the present and future scenario? What are the raw materials and their use as of today? The chemistry of biodegradable plastics, manufacturing process and equipment, cost factors. What are the cost factors on which the cost is decided? Idea about a molded component, and then statutory requirement to start a business, and the sources available with us as of now. So basically, what is biodegradable? The term biodegradable means itself is the end of terminology, end of life of terminology. Means anything if you throw on a or a dump in a open space, it should biodegrade on its own. Means it should convert into carbon dioxide, water, and biomass by action of the microorganisms and such as fungi or bacteria. That is the basically biodegradable. They are basically plastic that has the ability to be degraded by microorganisms present in the environment by entering the microbial food chain. As you know, came to know just now that most of the biodegradable plastics are made of the starch of food product. So it's very easy to them to biodegrade so that fungi or bacteria such microorganisms can enter into it and convert into food chain. The properties not depend on the origin of material, but it's depend on the chemical composition of the polymer. So if the polymer is consists of the biodegradable raw materials, then only it will be converted into biodegradable. Now, what about two types of biodegradable plastics? One is the oxy-biodegradable, another is a hydro-biodegradable. Now, hydro-biodegradable plastic is more quickly biodegrade than the oxy-biodegradable. In both cases, degradation begins with a chemical process, oxidation and hydrolysis, followed by a biological process. So, first of all, once the plastic is dumped on a ground or in a soil, then its oxidation and hydrolysis process starts. Then, when the environment is good and the temperature is good, then the microorganisms attack on it and decompose it. Both type of product basically emit the carbon dioxide when they biodegrade, but hydro biodegradable plastic also can emit the methane. This oxo biodegradable is somewhat is a more dangerous type because it converts into fragmentation. It doesn't fully biodegrade. Now, what is the difference between a biodegradable versus compostable? This is one should understand. People basically think that both are same. Both are same up to some extent, but not equally. So, biodegradable and compostable are terms used when describing organic materials breaking down in a specific environment. Now, what is that specific environment? Before that, let me tell you that compostable is always biodegradable, whereas biodegradable is not always a compostable. Both terms are often used when defining environmental friendly product. When we say eco-friendly, then we can see compostable as well, biodegradable, but both are misused actually. So it is important to note that compostability is a characteristic of product packaging that allow it to biodegrade under a specific condition. That is very important to note a certain temperature and time frame. So any compostable product or biodegradable product, it takes their own time to decompose in the earth. It is not like that you throw it and decompose immediate basis. The primary difference between both is that the compostable plastics are biodegradable in composting condition, while the other plastic degrade in soil, that is landfill or anaerobic digesters. If you take any biodegradable plastic and if you want to see that it has to be decomposed, then you have to send it to the landfills or you have to create anaerobic digester conditions. Now, what are the test method to find out what are the biodegradable plastics? First is this is ASTM. People who are not conversant with ASTM, let me tell you, it's American test method D6400. That is standard specification for labeling of plastic designed to be aerobically composted in municipal and industrial facilities. Then this is European standard EN 13432, requirements for packaging recoverable through composting and biodegradation. This is ISO 17088-2008, where the CPET is basically testing on those bases, and it allows you to check. There are four basically main aspects to check: the biodegradation of product, disintegration during composting, negative effect on the composting process and the facility. When it is decomposing, then it is not giving any negative effect on the process and the facility, and same time negative effect on the quality of the resulting compost. Means whatever the compost are being generated, it should be usable as a manure or it should be usable as a eco-friendly. Now, what are the present and future scenario of this biodegradable industry? The global bioplastic market size was valued at $10.2 billion in 2021, which is expected to register a compound annual growth of CAGR of 17.1 from 2022 to 2030. And next 8 to 10 years is a booming period for the biodegradable industry globally. Whereas in India, the market is expected to grow at CAGR of 24% approximately, and it should reach around $754 or 755 millions by 2025 from 208 million in last year. Now, why it is going to be there? Because there are so many things which is affecting or which is supporting this industry, and that is the basically awareness among the all of us. A ban on USCP across India and globally, and its increasing population in emerging markets of Asia, Pacific, and Indian market is expected to know going to use this packaging material more and more. What are the raw materials available and their use? As it has been said that history repeats again. Now, let me clarify you about this statement, history repeats again. Just to brief about you, when this world, almost a century ago, the plastics or started to come in the force, they were basically, uh, first of all, manufactured by using the biomass, like cellulose, like lac material, like lactic acids. All those materials were earlier used to produce the plastics in the market. Like people who are from the North India, maybe from Rajasthan. मैं यहाँ थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बोलूंगा, कुछ लोग शायद हिंदी में वो डिमांड कर रहे थे कि हिंदी में बात करें. कुछ लोग जो राजस्थान या नॉर्थ साइड से हैं, उनको लाख के बारे में पता होगा. लाख जो बैंगल्स में यूज करते हैं फीमेल्स, और बहुत सारे पहले टॉयज भी आया करते थे लाख के. तो लाख इज बेसिकली नथिंग, इज ए सॉर्ट ऑफ प्लास्टिक. ये ईयर 1500 अराउंड 1500वीं साल में करीब इसका आविष्कार हुआ था और हिंदुस्तान में हुआ था. और हिंदुस्तान में ये उस समय काफी मात्रा में यूज होता था. तो बाहर से जो फॉरेनर ट्रेवल्स इंडिया में आए थे, उन्होंने इस चीज को पता किया और उन्होंने फिर वर्ल्ड वाइड इस चीज को बताया कि ये इस तरह का मटेरियल है which can be molded and created and recreated many times. So history repeats again. What I mean to say is that again, biodegradable, we are dependent on all these material only. That is the starch-based plastics, bacteria-based plastics, soy-based plastics, cellulose-based, lignin-based, natural fiber reinforcement, and you can use them to manufacturing not only bags, many disposable products and cutlery, etc. Now, all these things you see, starch, bacteria, soy, cellulose, lignin, and natural fiber, these are basically the product from the plants. And the plants we use are the corn, sugar cane, agriculture waste, bagasse, and many other products. And many disposable products, if I'm telling you that you can think of any plastic which is used single time or one time. Some of those items are like that. You can see in this picture. These are all items which can be converted into biodegradable product. You can use the biodegradable plastic which is available in the market, and you can start manufacturing these type of products. If you have a existing industry, you can change it. If you want to start, you can start. You can connect the SolutionBuggy teams. They will refer you. They will tell you the many things about how to start it, and they can connect the people like us and the team which is present over here in this presentation. Now, basically, what is the chemistry of biodegradable products? Just to brief you how it is made. I'll tell you 3-4 examples of the biodegradable plastic. One is the polylactic acid. We call it PLA. Many of them must have heard about the PLA. PLA is basically fermented starch, which is basically coming from the sugar cane, sugar beet, and cassava product. And it is being mixed with certain plasticizers and chemicals to make it usable. Then polyhydroxyalkanoates, they said call on PHA. That is basically bacteria based. I told in the previous slide the plastic based on the bacteria also. That is being produced via fermentation of sugar and lipids. Then thermoplastic starch. This is another material. Again, this is the starch from plant materials that are heated with water and mixed with some chemicals to make the usable. Now, where it is being mostly used, the biodegradable coffee cups. All of you are going to Starbucks and CCD or other places. We are using the cups for coffee. Then it is basically a PLA lining is there to make it waterproof. Then this PLA is the second largest production volume of any biopolymer after TPS, and it is used as a plastic films, bottle, and food containers. Cutlery, you can make the cutlery by the combination of PLA and TPS. And TPS is basically mixed with other plastic and can be used manufacturing the different kind of bags. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this biodegradable plastic and regular plastic? The global plastic production, based on the data of the 2018, the conventional plastic we were producing of 333 million tons, and biodegradable and bioplastic was 2.11 million tons. So use of bioplastics is increasing, but they still account for less than 1% of the global plastic market. The conditions for the biodegrading is the basically need a moisture, oxygen, the microorganism, and accurate humidity and temperature to make it biodegradable. Biodegradable plastics are little bit expensive because it is deriving from the natural resources, not from the plastic. Just to tell the audience, the plastics is basically manufactured by a byproduct of the oil refineries, naphtha. The basic is the naphtha which give you the plastics. Naphtha is nothing, is a byproduct of a oil refineries. So it is cheaper. Whereas the biodegradable is a natural process, natural product based process, products like as I told you, the corn and this bacteria and starches. So what are the manufacturing processes and equipments? One is the basically extrusion process where you can blow the films and make the many types of bags, carry bags, garbage bags, wrapping bags, shrink films, and other things. Another is the injection molding machine, injection molding process, which basically you can produce the plates, cups, and other molded equipments, products. Another is the blow molding, where you can produce the basically small type of bottles and certain type of different jars, where which is basically based on the blow molding machines. What are the cost? Estimated cost depends on what are the factors. What product do you want to make? Whether it's extrusion based, or it's a blow molding based, or it's a injection molding based. What are the size and shape you want to produce? What type of raw material you want to use it? What is the capacity you are looking for? What is the manufacturing process depend on the product? Suppose you want to make a bag, you need extrusion process, that cost will be different. Then what are the equipment you are going to use it? What are the accessory equipment you need, whether you want a printing or not, whether you want a post manufacturing operations or not, and where you want to establish your factory, for your local cost, land, electricity, license, and bank loans, and then miscellaneous expenses, the expenditure which is required. We'll see a simple estimate about the calculation of injection molded component. It's a very estimated cost, just a rough idea to understand how it works. Biodegradable raw material cost is around 210 or so approximately, and the conversion cost around 25 rupees kg. The total cost becomes 235. The product weight suppose is 20 grams. Then quantity you can produce in 1 kg is 50, and the cost comes to 4 rupees 70 paisa. A capital cost, for example, if you're going for injection molding machine and accessories, maybe you have to spend some 25 lakh rupees. You may need a land of approximately 2,500 square foot. And if you're converting 1,000 square foot into shared and usable area, then you're spending 1,500 rupees per square foot, then you have to spend 15 lakh rupees. Some miscellaneous expense of 150 lakh rupees. Total maybe that 41 lakh 50,000. Working capital required of 4 lakh 75,000, the raw materials, the salary, and other accessory. Then capital for 3 months is around 14 lakh 25,000 rupees. So total comes to be 55 lakh 75,000 is basically the capital investment. Now production cost per annum is around 57 lakh rupees. Depreciation cost on all these machineries and this 41 lakh 50,000 rupees comes to be around 7 lakh rupees, considering depreciation, interest, and other costs. So total you will be spending in a year 64 lakh rupees. Then what is your profit analysis, or how you can earn the profit? The cost of product is basically 4 rupees 70 paisa. Target quantity if you are selling 18 lakh pieces per annum, then sales volume become your 84 lakh 60,000. Whereas you are spending 64 lakh rupees in a year. So you get a profit of around 20 lakh rupees, 60,000 in a year. So please understand this is a very estimated cost and it will change based on the conditions which I told you in my previous slide. Now, what are the strategic requirements to start a business? Who want to start the business as a fresh? Who are already in the business, they may have all these uh, requirements, all these aspects with them. One is you have to register, you have to basically select the name of company, register with ROC, register of a company. Then you have to get an Aadhaar and PAN card of the company. You have to get the registration of the ST, online registration of UTME with MSME. Sorry, that is type of mistake. Then approval from CPCB planning to sell across India. CPET approval for biodegradability of product that is based on ISO 17088. Approximately expenses 4 lakh rupees with a tentative timeline of 8 months. Now people are just surprised why it takes 8 months. So basically, when you see the biodegradability of any plastic, it takes almost 6 to 7 months to decompose in a soil. So that is basically a natural timeline. It's not a some extended or man-made timeline. It's a natural timeline which takes that much time and then the administrative timeline. Any other approval as per your local government or municipality based on the place where you want to operate. Now, what are the sources available with us? You can get the machines, local Indian as well as imported. You can import the machines. Any of the machine you can import, extrusion, blow molding, or as well as the injection molding. Raw material, again, you have a local as well as global. Customers, you can sell domestic as well as the international. A brief request that wherever possible, procure locally, sell locally as well as globally to earn the more dollars and to make India most self-reliant or Atmanirbhar. Now, to end my presentation, just to have a gratitude to SolutionBuggy and my friends who are on this panel to speak about the biodegradable plastic. Just a message to all of you who are the audience as well as panel to adopt the mantra of refuse. First of all, refuse the single-use plastic wherever possible. Use your own bag, particularly. Reuse. If you can't refuse, then reuse those materials as much as possible. You can recycle, segregate, keep separately and segregate and give it to the vendors who can recycle it. Recover, try to recover the plastics out of it. Redesign. If you are in manufacturing unit using the plastic, then you can redesign to use as low as per plastic. Rethink and recover. Thank you very much. And if anybody wants to connect with me, you can connect through SolutionBuggy and then you can take their hand.
Sure. Thank you, Rajkumar Mathurji. So the thing is, like how both Mr. Purushottam Adhoni and Mr. Mathurji mentioned, the cost of setting up of the plant. Something which we want to, highlight in this is since this product per se by itself is a B2B product, right? So which is typically the case with most of the B2C products, your marketing costs are very high, right? In most of the B2C products. But unlike that, for this product, since it's B2B, you don't have a pretty much very high, kind of a marketing cost. So you can, find out a few, retailers, food manufacturers, or it could be a few FMCG products, which could be a typical customer base. And then once you have a good market standing, obviously by word of mouth and through references, you can get your next line of businesses coming in. So overall, with your marketing cost being low, you can obviously have for a new entrepreneur, it could be a very good avenue. And also we will hear more from our next speaker, who himself is an entrepreneur, Mr. Gautam Surana. And then we can try to understand what are the challenges and opportunities that he has faced and how he has overcome it. Thank you, Mathurji. Any questions? We will obviously try to connect with both the speakers once again. Mr. Gautam, I think you are the man in demand now with all the SUP ban and things like that coming in. Obviously you have your hands full. So I would like to understand, what was your intent of getting into this sector, and how Eco 365 has contributed into this sector.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Prasad sir, and nice piece of information which we received from both the speakers, and and it makes my work very easy. Let me tell you, okay, because the technical and manufacturing, everything has been explained. So I'll quickly jump into the products and I'll speak about the application area. Okay, so we started as a company. Eco 365 brand was started in 2010, and we deal only in sustainable solutions, alternative solutions, basically. Okay, to your regular products. So it was in 2014 when majority of us didn't knew about compostable plastics or biodegradable plastics. What we are talking when we were selling compostable plastics. Okay, in India, and believe me. Whomever we met, they were like, okay, there is something like this which exists, and which has features like which could degrade and it could become manure. And I'm sticking to only compostable plastics here, not biodegradable plastics, because there is nothing as such defined by Indian government biodegradable plastics as such right now. Okay, which have been in practice. Okay, yes, what is biodegradable, what is compostable, it's been already defined. I did not get into that back. So we are a compostable plastic manufacturer, and we are based out from Bangalore. We have a huge production setup here in Bangalore. We recently expanded our production capacities as well. And we work with top e-commerce companies, and we work with hyper locals, and we also work with many other corporates. Okay, so since our focus was always in alternative solutions and alternative products which are more environment friendly, which protects the environment and which are less harmful, so we got into water conservation as our first product, and then we got into 2014 we got into compostable plastic, and since then the journey has been lot of excitement. There were times where we were rejected in all the meetings. Let me tell you, from morning to evening. We did 10 meetings, and 10 meetings we were said, no, we don't need your plastic. Okay. Fortunately, the demand was there from clients who were working for European clients or American clients, where they understood this. Why? Because compostable plastic was launched or was in practice much before we started using it in India, in European markets. And the product was understood by the clients who had their presence in India. So majority of the customers, they were doing it for compliance, or they were doing it for environment. They wanted to be green, or they wanted to be this thing. There was no hard and fast rule of ban, or they were not talking. So I'm talking about times when I want to use compostable plastic. Why? Because I want to be more responsible.
So it was
Okay,
more voluntary and no government
more
regulation.
voluntary, yes. No, not. Okay. Though plastic ban came into Indian cities, it might be a very big news today. For me, believe me, plastic ban, I've been hearing, I've been living with plastic ban. I live in Karnataka. So here the plastic ban happened in 2014. Okay. So there's nothing new here. Believe me. All those things, what we are talking about, ये ban हो गया, वो ban हो गया, it's just become a national news. But plastic ban has been already there in the states. 17, 18 states, even prior to 2022, were having plastic ban. Okay, so where we focus upon right now is we focus upon packaging. Okay, more as a solution, where, because the graph, the pie chart what you showed, the packaging was contributing the most. Okay, and we realized, if I have to create impact, okay, if as a company we have to create impact, that's where we need solutions. So that's where we are working upon right now. Some value SKUs like carry bag, garbage bag, etc., are low on our portfolio. We produce very less of them, or in fact, I don't even tell my marketing team to market them. Okay, because there are easy substitutes for that. For a carry bag, there are easy substitutes which are available. You should carry your own bag. Okay, I always tell what we used to do prior. Chola was good enough. Okay, so we don't need a compostable bag also there, let me tell you. Okay, so we are focusing on packaging here, where a product needs to be commuted from one place to another. It needs to be preserved. Branding needs to come into place. A bundling needs to be come into place. So that is where we are working upon right now. And the solutions what we give are different. Maybe I could present the presentation in which I could show you these things.
Yeah,
So
go
if
ahead.
you have some
Go ahead.
questions, you could definitely ask me.
Maybe you should present the products, and then we can
Yes.
ask a few more questions.
Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could see the logo, and this is how we look, and this is our presentation. Okay. Yes, we have all the necessary certifications which is required by the compostable plastic manufacturer in India. We have a production capacity of 1,800 metric ton per year right now, and we are still expanding. Uh, these are few of our clients. It includes big names and also corporate world. Okay, we do have some new clients as well, which are very new startups, etc., and they want to be sustainable. Uh, so as a company, we have won National Entrepreneurship Award by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and we have won numerous media coverages and other things. Government has rewarded us 5 lakh rupees as a reward money, which is a rare thing to get. What is bioplastic? I'll not jump into it, but I'll tell you what. It has properties which are very similar to your regular plastic. Okay, and there are endless possibilities with the plastic. There is a lot of inventions which are happening. Multiple layer packaging, flexible packaging solutions are also developed across the globe around compostable plastic, and this is where I see bioplastic playing a major role in the future, where compostable plastic will replace the fossil fuel plastic or a long-lived plastic which lives for 100 years, 50 years after application with a very short life. Okay, and this is where we are also working upon. Uh, why compostable plastics? This is from the point of view, looks like and functions like regular plastic, ecological. It's once composted, it is food for plant. It does not create microplastic. It's non-toxic. Compliances. If you have a sustainability image, let's say you're talking about, I'm selling herbal vegetables. I'm talking about organic vegetables. Okay, and imagine your organic vegetables coming into plastic which lives forever. Okay, at one point you're talking about nature, you're talking about environment, but at the same time you're creating microplastics with your packaging, regular packaging. So that is where compostable plastic makes a lot of difference. If you could see some products on the screen, fresh veggies are packed, garments are packed, apples are packed, coconut is packed. Okay, so it's very thin layer of bioplastic which is going on top of that. It is basically plant packed with plant material. So we are trying to create a nature around the nature. Okay, so that is something which we are talking about here. Fresh produce packaging, heat resistant packaging, apparel packaging. If you buy a Levi's jeans right now, in the country, or Benetton shirt, or a Louis Philippe shirt, there are very, not very, 100% chances, 100% that, you will receive in a compostable packaging. So a lot of customers, a lot of brands have already adopted compostable plastic as a solution. Okay, if you buy an apples from Big Basket, they are packed on compostable plastics. We normally don't observe this, but many brands have already committed themselves. Uh, there are tamper-proof bags. There are bin liners which we could make poop bags. These some of the products are also from hospitality industry and then also for export oriented purpose. So, and we customize as per client needs. So how we work, we collaborate because everything is a new development, it's a new kind of a plastic. Okay, so we work on collaboration model where we say, share us the knowledge for why you need packaging and how you need packaging to be done, and then we co-develop. And once we co-develop the product, and then we do prototyping, and once the prototyping is done, then feasibility and ideations are done if changes are required, and that is how we get to the final product. Okay, so typically cycle from scratch to a final product for packaging would take easily 1 month or two, or sometime even more than that if we do not have a ready prototype ready. Uh, so with this, I have nothing much to share with respect to what products we make or how we make. I'm more of, I would like to keep it more interactive, where I was
Right.
told that we'll be asked questions, and then you probably, if you could
Right.
answer them, that would be
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm permitted to share from my company, from my point of view, what we do.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
I'm happy to open to
Right. So something maybe I might be trying to get some secrets out of you. But how difficult or how easy it is to market these products? Because most of our entrepreneurs here might be looking to get into this sector, but one thing that could be stopping them is where is the market for it? टिपिकल मेंटालिटीज अगर मार्केट है तो पैसा डालने के लिए मजा आएगा, नहीं तो
So,
we'll have to look at it. So how difficult it is, and how have you scaled marketing challenges?
okay, so since see, I'll tell you what, it was really very difficult in 2014 when we started. Okay, at that point of time, why? Because it was a concept. Okay, right now it's no more a concept. Okay, it's the need of the hour. Okay, and people understand sustainability at large. In last 7 years, with Corona coming into picture and giving a gap of 2 years to realize so many things. Okay, so people have understood that we need to protect the environment. That understanding itself creates a lot of opportunities. So we've been approached by multiple brands. Okay, either they have the green pitch or not in their brand, but they want to be sustainable. Okay, why? Because it's a basic thing. It's a consumer who is demanding the packaging to be sustainable. So as per some research, that there are more likely that a consumer will buy your product, because if it is packed 60%, there is more likely that they will buy your product if they are packed sustainably. Okay, so which means that people who are packing eco-friendly, they have an edge. Okay, they have a story, they have a purpose of a brand. So I think it's much more easy that if you have the right solution, there are buyers available in the market, and there are many challenge points. There are many, still many innovations required. I normally say there's no journey very easy. Okay, if you're doing it new, and if you're the first time to do it, okay, it won't be easy. No, if it is easy, then probably compostable plastic packaging manufacturers would have been hundreds in numbers. Okay, in every city and every look and corner of the city, country. But yes, it is difficult. It is a perishable plastic, please understand. So what happens in packaging is that at the same time you need a shelf life, at the same time you want the plastic to biodegrade, and at the same time you want it to go away from the nature and become a nature. Okay, so there is a balance which we need to do. Okay, so this requires a proper understanding. Marketing and your communication plays a very, very important role here. How you pitch for your product, how you talk about your product, and I think that's the core of the business. Okay, products are available. Raw material is available. Licenses government is giving. Uh, Technology partners are available. Companies like Ecolastic will help you set up the Ecolastic, or Dr. Mathu will help you set up the industry. Okay, so but at the same time you have to understand, knowing and doing, these are two things. Okay, so marketing will play a very, very important role. How you understand, how you live by your own, ideologies. Do you walk the talk or not? Okay, it cannot be a factory where, you make regular plastic and compostable plastic both. Okay, you're mixing both the things. At one point you're saying compostable plastic lelo, at the same time you're talking regular plastic lelo. Okay, so this is a double standard what you're doing. Okay, so I believe purity will match here. How much you are committed to environment, okay, and how much you want to really give a solution, and that will lead to a lot of developments and clients preferring you over other products.
Right, right. Yeah, so we also totally agree on that. With that, I have a few more questions, but I'll hold on to that. I would like to ask Purushottam ji, say basically, people are worried that, the packaging can come in contact with moisture and naturally occurring bacteria and all. So how long is the actual shelf life of this, product? Say suppose I'm using it to, for package a food product or something like that, which could have moisture by itself and also the external moisture and things like that. Mr. Purushottam, you're on mute.
Yeah, so the product we are talking here is more for single use, like Gautam mentioned. So there are two types. One is used for short life. You take a carry bag, bring from grocery shop, and you. Second is the semi-durable, like what he's talking about, the packing the shirt or things like that. So product can be designed in such a way. So really for a single use, you need cost effective. So the basically it is designed in such a way 2 months, 3 months is a good enough shelf life. Whereas for say semi-durables, which is packed and transported, kept in some time, so it can be tuned to 6 months to 1 year time. But to talk about a barrier property like a food grain you pack and keep it in a supermarket and all, so these are still challenges are there. So there's a lot of research happening on that front. So it can be done, but it is like very expensive solution to do that. So the opportunity is also small. So it is like contradicting things. Like one side you want to degrade, one side you want to sustain, but it requires a lot of R&D because it is not like plastic products. So you set up and sell. So it needs that persistence and R&D. But it is doable to some extent. Like 1 year to 18 months is also possible, but it designed that say R&D as well as the costs are going to be high.
Right, right. Mathurji, one question to you. See, CPET is saying that they need at least 6 to 8 months to get the approval. So does it mean that new entrepreneur will have to wait so long, or can he start production before that?
I think Mr. Purushottam and Gautam can give more answer because they are the actual person who has started their business. As per the rule says that it is going to be 8 months once you give the samples and they start the proceedings. But I think they can get some provisional certification sort of like that. They can start the manufacturing and start supplying. I think they can highlight you better than because they are actual user. Purushottam and Gautam, everybody can tell about more about it.
It takes a little more time than 6 to 8 months to get your final certificate. And in provisional, you actually cannot invest more. Okay, once you have a provisional license, and uh, it requires, we are requesting for some alterations. First, you are required to set up a factory. First, you are required to get a local consent, and then CPCB consent, which means that your expense starts from day one. Um, of setting up the factory, and you're not selling product until your licenses are coming to you. So there are some corrections or some improvisations required. We've been giving these suggestions to CPCB. Why? Because we have gone through this phase, and then there was a time where our industry, our factory, we were paying salaries, but we were not having license, and at that point of time, uh, we suffered. We have to take that cost. It's ultimately a cost, operations cost. It's just not. So I would say. improvisations are required in those fields. I think Purushottamji could also throw some lights on this.
So now, see, as the industry is growing, a lot of people are requesting the government to make it simpler, because earlier they had variety of certification. At least in recent PWM rules, they said they will issue final certificate. So there is a testing process, and in the testing process, if it crosses the 90% degradation, so that point of time the provisional is given. So during provisional, a lot of people are manufacturing. There's no clear-cut rule that you cannot manufacture. Even we also did that part when we got provisional. So but minimum 6 months is what is anticipated.
So basically, what they mean to say it, you have to invest the money from day one. You start doing all the operations, give the samples to the CPET, and then basically you have to wait minimum 6 to 8 months to start delivering the products. Am I right, Purushottamji and Gautam?
Yes.
Right, right. So yeah, obviously, these are the cost of doing business. So that has to be factored in when you're, making your final product. So one question is, is there a, guidance from the government itself on how to, start these plans, and, what kind of government support can be expected?
Government supports, I think there are many agencies who are supporting basically on the financial aspects. You can get the funds, and they are supporting basically to start the biodegradable industry. They are helping them, but where the process is taking time consuming processes are there that they cannot do anything about it. Otherwise, they are helping you to get the other certifications like factory license, correction, starting the company, getting the GST and all those things, loans from the factory, these banking institutions, financial institutions, machine providers, installation. That can be worked out. But where the time-consuming process is there, that is required. Yes, Gautam.
Yes, Gautam, good.
So government is not treating you anything special. They're just treating you like an industry, any other industry. Okay, if I have to say, because I think your question was related to, since we have an alternative for plastic, or we are an environment friendly solution, do they treat you something special, or somewhere you get a faster approach? Okay, they just treat you like a normal industry. It's not like you have a fast track for you to come. So I think the incentives, loans, etc., are available for every industry. Even if I want to set up a regular plastic packaging industry, it is available. Okay, the loans are available. CGT, SME loans are available for everybody. Okay, it's not that a compostable manufacturer will get an extra 25 lakh rupees grant or 10 lakh rupees grant for R&D or something like that. Okay, so I would request, if some government officials are there, I would request them to consider as a special industry to promote, and give us some special cases, special grants to do R&D and other things. Why? Because we could bring solutions which are, game changers for the industry. And that's where we are investing hard money. Where is our money going? If you see majority, a lot of research and trials and experiments which we are doing for different industry, and we fail. Majority of times we fail. Okay, so that's where we need protection, and
So
and to
Gautam,
invest in.
just to add over there, so since how Purushottam has bought out something from DRDO and is working along with DRDO to expedite that R&D process, is it something that works out, or is it something that you're
Surely, something like this, maybe, or something on an individual level. Okay, it may not be always a government organization to participate. Okay, so you see, DRDO will also have some baseline. Okay, to work with. They will not work with 20 odd companies or 100 odd companies or 150 odd companies. Okay, so since we are talking that there is a lot of requirement for innovations to be done, there is a lot of new products to be developed. Okay, which means that there is a lot of expenditure which is required to be done, and a lot of risk taking activities which requires to be done. When we want to develop something new, it requires to take a risk. It requires an appetite to take a risk. Okay, so this is where I think the government could have a major role to play, where it could set up some kind of special incentives. We pay a regular tax, We pay a regular IT, we pay a regular rentals, we pay a regular electricity bill. Okay, we get a regular loan. Okay, tell me one thing, if we are protecting environment and we are a special industry, okay, is there something special for us, somewhere? Okay, so I think that is where, things needs to be done.
Yeah, so long story short is, basically the government needs to come in and give in some extra incentives for the entrepreneurs. Of
Yes.
course, Gautam, I think this is a topic, an entirely different topic, which we will have to, get in some
No, no,
government
no, no
officials.
problem. Since we are asked this question, so
Yeah. No,
as
I
an entrepreneur,
understand.
I
No,
need to share. As an entrepreneur, I need to share my pain points
right,
and my,
right. No, no, no.
somebody
I
jumps into
really
this and
appreciate
then
that. Yeah,
he expects, it will be a red carpet walk. Okay, it won't be a red
right,
carpet
right,
walk. Let me tell you.
right,
Okay,
right.
you have to go through all the process.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, in
Uh,
fact, a lot of these new entrepreneurs who wants to set up, the very first question they ask is, are there any incentives from government? The straight answer is no. So that is clear. Yeah.
Right. So I think one more question which keeps coming up in their minds is, there are already so many. I mean, this is an open question to all three of you. I think all of you can give your opinions. There are already so many plastic manufacturing industries, who are making plastics and who have been doing this for so many years. So won't they be in a better position and in a, be faster to, adopt these options? And even after that, will there be, demand for so many, biodegradable plastic units?
Yeah.
I would want, yeah. Go
Yes,
ahead.
please go ahead.
Okay, so I would want more companies to come and market. Okay, so that our marketing works release. It's very simple answer. We are not scared of competition. Even 10 more companies comes like us in Bangalore alone, we cannot fulfill the packaging requirement. Let me tell you, be very straightforward. The first question any buyer will come and ask you, if it's a large company, be it Dabur or ITC or XYZ company, will come and ask you how many tons of production you do per month. Okay, and if you say 30, 50, 70, you're not even counted. You're not even counted by them, as a packaging solution provider. Why? Because you need large capacities to fulfill requirements of packaging. So there is a lot of opportunity there. And if it becomes an industry, it will get a special status, I would say, it should not be considered as regular plastic industry, which I feel, why? Because we are talking an alternative product to that. Okay, so this is how I think.
Yeah. So
Purushottam
see,
ji,
as Gautam ji told, see, I have an industry manufacturing these products, but I am coming forward to set up as many possible. It doesn't mean that I am creating competition to me, because this growing this industry, the entire all, it helps me also to grow parallelly. So that's one part. Second is to answer your question to the existing plastic industry. Yes, it is relatively easier for them to move to this product because their investments are already there, but they have to go through this certification process. Secondly, this marketing of this product is not straight like plastics. It requires a lot of efforts and educating and identifying the right customers. Because today, for example, if you see, plastics covers below 75 micron is banned, but today everywhere in market you can find them. So that right target is like organized market. So you go to a supermarket, you go to DMart or Ratnadeeps and then try to sell that, then selling in open market. So that takes some time really to convert unorganized to organized, but there's a market.
See, groups that
yes,
biodegradable plastic industry is a ocean. You have a plenty of chances to grow. So people who are in existing manufacturing capacity doesn't cater the entire requirement as on today. If no everybody start using biodegradable packaging, the people who are available in India across globe, they cannot even suffice the requirement. So more and more people are there has to be there to start the business or diversify the existing business. Okay. So the scope for the existing player is there, and for the new manufacturers who want to enter the business, they can start. They can also start working on it at the same time.
So one thing to add upon here is that the markets will only grow if there is an implementation of ban and compliances. Okay,
Yes.
otherwise everything on this what we are talking is on cards. Okay, and there is always a catch 2020 situation. So I am seeing plastic ban since 2014 in Karnataka. Okay, and many parts of India has plastic ban. In fact, you go and ask a shopkeeper, he will not even know that in his state there is a plastic ban, and he is openly selling a regular stuff. Okay, and so I would say the market is good if the implementation is good. Okay, if there is no implementation, let me tell you, you might taking up a new headache for yourself.
So basically, the
Okay.
consistency in the implementation is most important thing. If you
So
implement for a
it is
certain,
with the conditions apply, macros.
yes,
Okay, are macros in your control? So I can't talk about implementation here. Why? Because I'm not the person who's supposed to implement it. Okay, so this is where is the whole game is there. I'm telling you, government puts a strict ban on plastic, and believe me, I will put all my family members into this business. Tell all my brothers and cousins, come help me. Okay, don't go here and there and don't start something new. There is enough opportunity there. Okay, but I want one thing, or just one thing. This is the minimum support which I want from the government. Please implement the ban properly.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
just
So we
for
have heard
implement.
right from the horse's mouth that there is a big opportunity in the market, and it's only depending on how the government is going to implement the ban. I would like to ask one question: is this safe enough or proven enough to be used with in the pharma sector and also in the medical devices sector? Packaging of
Yes.
Yes, the performance need to be tuned. Otherwise, on the regulatory and safety front, it can be used.
okay, so it still needs to be tested.
Yeah, because it depends on the application performance need to be tested. Otherwise, on the safety aspects or FDA aspects, this can pass those regulations.
Okay. Okay. One of the questions here asks, the CPET approval and CPCB approval, are these, I mean, they're two different approvals, right? So is it one after the other sequential, or can it be done parallelly?
One after the others.
Okay.
It's
So
not
once you
just
get
CPCB,
CPCB, you
there
have
is
to,
another one. There is
okay,
also a state approval.
a state body approval, is it?
Yes, state body approval, then CPET, and then CPCB. They are all
Right.
in sequence.
Sequence.
Okay.
One after the other.
Okay. So is there a requirement of having a testing unit within the facility wherever you are setting up a manufacturing?
Not necessary.
No,
Not required, but if you have, that's good.
right. Is there a option of using somebody else's license? I don't know how this question came up. I mean, how would somebody do that?
It's a very good
I
question.
don't. Yeah, right.
It's a very good question, but it is not allowed. If it is allowed, with one certificate, whole India runs. So,
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
So see,
Yeah.
the certificate is for your factory. It's not for the brand.
Right.
Okay, it's not for the name, it's not for the GST number. The certificate which you get is for your premises where you manufacture compostable plastic, and you are only supposed to manufacture compostable plastic in that premises. It is not for all other types of plastic.
Right. Say, suppose somebody is getting into downstream, that is, he is going to procure the pellets from somebody and then, making into whatever printed bags and things like that. So then how does he check for the genuineness of his pellets and all? that the raw material is genuinely, correct?
No, the responsibility lies on the producer. So every bag needs to be printed with a certificate number and QR code. That's mandatory. So it can be traced back. So if somebody is producing
There is a
without
small
it,
test.
it is not.
There is a small test, FTIR test, which can be conducted by at CPET level. Okay, if you have doubts on the suppliers of your raw material. Okay, so if as an entrepreneur, as a business house, we only buy from people who have licenses and we have separate CPCB approvals and all. Okay, why? Because if you're not buying from them, they have nothing to lose. They are just selling a raw material. Okay, so if they have CPCB license and all, just in case we find their material to be illicit, okay, we can challenge them to on their licenses and etc. to CPCB.
And CPCB publishes entire approved manufacturer list in the website. At any point of time, buyer can go and see that whether it's authentic or not.
Right. So is there a alternative even for the Bisleri and other packaged drinking water bottles that are available?
Yes, yes.
There are two aspects to this. One is the water bottle is made of PET, and PET has become a very organized recycled material. So maybe 15 years back, people were not picking PET; they were leaving only PET. Now only PET is picked up. So there, the need for replacing PET bottle is very minimal. Second is technologies are available. They are very expensive because this industry is extremely cost sensitive. They talk 0.01 paisa per bottle also is a big cost difference. So there's no reason for banning globally because the recycling is managed very well. Gautamji, you were telling something.
Yes, I was about to tell the same thing. Even if there is a solution, I would not want the replacement of PET bottles to come into place. Okay, and secondly, the casual approach, the consciousness has to come that do you really need to water? I've not heard in last, since I've born, I've not heard that somebody died of thirst. Okay, I really don't remember कोई पानी के कारण मर गया है उसको पानी नहीं मिला पीने के लिए वो मर गया. Okay, gone are those days जहाँ पे रेगिस्तान में या कहीं पर आपको पानी नहीं मिला आप पीने के लिए मर गए. So you could, I always say, carry your own bottle. I am a bioplastic manufacturer, but still I carry my own bottle. Okay, and I think things where we really don't need. Okay, why do we have a product? Okay, so the attempts should be made there. Not to have another alternative, but to have the right product. Okay, so I don't say everywhere bioplastic is required. Okay, bioplastic is a one of the tools of sustainable packaging. Okay, where we want to replace the material with something which is short-lived, which is perishable, which is non-toxic, no microplastic. Uh, so replacing a plastic bottle like PET bottle, I don't see it makes a lot of sense.
Right, right. A slightly technical question. Maybe Purushottam, you can give it a try. What is the filler master batch and what ratio can we mix it with PLA starch for compostable bags?
See, compostable bags are made in different ways. One is you take readily convertible compound and put it in machine and make. Alternately, to keep flexibility, what people do is they buy, there's a compostable polymer called PBAT or PL. You buy that separately, and the things that you can add, like filler, is something like mineral filler. It can be calcium, talc, things like that. So the master batch is called a filler, major filler and minor polymer. It's a compound again, so that it's in a granule form. You can put it into a machine. So you take PBAT and you take filler master batch, and you play with ratio at your level because you are not making granule. So that's called filler master batch. The addition percentage and all needs to be strictly defined based on what end properties you need. It can be 10%, 20, maybe at max 50 also, what we hear in the industry. But that depends. More the filler you put, your product becomes like it easily tears. Your strength goes down. So they balance they have to find out. a ballpark figure, you can say 20 to 50%. We can say. Maybe Mathurji has some experience on this.
No, you're absolutely right, Purushottam. It basically depends on many factors. It's very difficult to tell how much percentage they can mix and then make the product. As per the normally in the industry standard, usually 10 to 15% used to be used as a filler. But as on today, before this concept of bioplastic, people are using maybe 25 to 30% as a filler of culture or like that. But again, depends on the application, use, and requirement of the customer.
And also, since it's a very nascent subject, I don't think even the government has any regulations that this much be the percentages. So I think it is all dependent on the manufacturer and also as both the experts have mentioned, on the usability of the product. Yeah, one more continuing on that. What is the advantage of 2 or 3 layer extrusion machine over a monolayer machine?
Gautamji, you are the best
No,
person.
I think Mathur sir is the right person to answer.
You are the manufacturers as of today, right now. So basically, the extrusion process, what they are going to use, the simple extruder, and they can use the 2 to 3 layers also, making on the product the quality they are looking for.
As per my knowledge, it could reduce some cost for you if you're using multi-layer at some levels. Okay, again, and it could also give you a quality output depending on the functional packaging requirements, basically.
Right.
But again, these all are very new things for the industry. Okay, so there's nothing in very bold language right now that what is good, what is bad. We are still exploring.
Right.
See, this industry is still in development stage, so many new things are coming up with the technologies, the materials, and many other things. So, as on today, what is available. Further can be explored and then developed. Sorry.
Right.
I would say only if you have an experimental and innovative mindset, you should get into this business.
Yes.
Why?
Perfect.
Because it will require you to invent. It will require you to challenge yourself.
Right. Yeah. One question to you, Gautam. Does your company manufacture transparent compostable bags, the ones which are used in the Kirana stores and all? Do you do that?
Yes, we manufacture a lot transparent compostable bags used for different applications, used for fresh produced packaging, fresh produced garments, non-food category. We have packed products like agarbatti. We have packed products like coconut. We have packed products like apple. In them, we have packed areca leaf. So there is transparency has a lot to do with packaging, especially in a non-food category business, where the product needs to be seen before the buyer, wants to buy this, because there is an appeal, look and feel. So transparency, especially in garment industry, until I see the shirt color, or how to identify the shirt color if it is not transparent. So transparency plays a very important role, and one of the core requirements from customers, where they want higher and higher transparency in the product.
Okay. Is there a replacement for shrink wrap or heat shrink method through this technology?
We are already doing it.
You can do that.
Yes, we are already producing them, and we have customers for them.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I missed out a few questions previously. We didn't mention PP non-woven bags. Is that also part of biodegradable options?
No.
There are some
When you mentioned the word PP itself is not biodegradable. The word PP is a polypropylene. That's it. The answer lies in the question.
I think I think that user want to, or the attendee want to understand the PP non-woven bags can be replaced by the biodegradable bag.
Okay.
I think you have shown you in your presentation.
Yes. So there are non-woven bags which has been developed using PBAT, polyester, and other this thing. But the cost works out not feasible enough. So that is why they are not very popular. Okay, as of now, blown film compostable material is something which is very popular. A sanitary pad, for example, has a layer of non-woven. Okay, and
Yes.
the nappies. Okay. The children nappies also, they have a layer of non-woven clothes. Okay, so there are experiments which are ongoing where want to replace the fabric which is used in nappies or sanitary pad to make them biodegradable and compostable. Those are in 2025 GSM material, not very thicker ones. Okay, whereas they cannot sustain weight as a carry bag solution. Okay, but I'm not a carry bag expert, let me tell you. Okay, my functional areas are not carry bag, and we've never focused on carry bag, so I have very least knowledge on how the carry bag industry runs. And when Purushottamji was sharing the cost comparison, even it was a learning for me. Maybe the carry bags are selling like this. Okay, so we never ventured into that. It is a product which we did buy because sometimes customers ask for it, but believe me, it is not something we push for.
Right. Purushottamji, your views on this?
Yeah, coming to that non-woven question, what you asked, non-woven, there is some research going on from the people who are manufacturing compostable polymer material. There is something called PBS, apart from PLA, PBAT. So they have come up with fiber making and also launched the face mask and all during pandemic time, because that is the most disposed. But this is very expensive as of now. As scale up happens in industry, yes, this can come into a mass commercial scale.
Yes,
Right.
I'm looking. Yes, that is what I said. Functional requirements. This is where the be replaced. Let's say sanitary pad or mask or somewhere else. I feel there is a need for compostable product there.
Yeah, and some good news for you, Gautam, because there is a person who's asking if he can invest in Eco 365. Maybe we should connect with them offline in case you are
All the
looking at
best,
it.
Gautam.
Probably that is one area, Mr. Guru Prasad, for you to conduct some calls separately.
Right, I know.
Bring in both the sides.
Right.
Yes.
And also, I think Purushottam's company would also be open to take investment.
Yes. It's not investments. We want more R&D. We want people to come up with more. Anyways, yes, it's encouraging. It's encouraging that people want to associate with us. Okay,
Right.
we do get these kind of interest, and we do need funds and all. But at the same time, we look at the right choices to be made.
Right. So I think it was a very healthy discussion over the last 1.5 hours, and then we kind of understood a lot of both the pros and cons of getting into this industry, and that's why I feel having both the experts as well as entrepreneurs into this webinar session helps a lot for the audience to understand what are the possible opportunities and what are the areas where they need to work more upon. And like all of you said, it involves obviously a lot of work from the entrepreneur himself to understand what his capabilities are, how he can hone on his skills, and also getting into manufacturing per se by itself is having high risk appetite and also being more innovative. It is not like a run of a mill product which will keep selling. I just have to produce and wait for people to come and pick it up. So it is something where you need to day in and day out innovate and do some new technology, adopt new technology, and also team up with the right kind of experts and people who will guide you in the right way. It is not something that you will just start manufacturing and it is like Aladdin's genie. You will get the right formula. You will have to experiment a lot. So with that, I would like to thank all the participants and all the speakers for sharing their knowledge, being transparent enough to tell us, the pitfalls of the industry as well, and give us the technical knowledge as well. Thank you, Purushottam. Thank you, Rajkumar Mathurji, and thank you, Gautam Surana. And we do hope that we can, address more questions. And if there is any specific questions to any of the participants, do share it with us. We will share it across to them. And of course, if there are specific questions to SolutionBuggy, do write into us at info@solutionbuggy.com. Thank you for the participants as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.